Alright kiddos, this is, I've put on Google Classroom what it is that I want you to do till Saturday. So this gives you, 3 days to get this done. And on Google Classroom, I refer you to this YouTube video. It's called Magnetic Reversal and Seafloor Spreading. It's by Ruth Kirk, and she's got a British accent, so sort of be prepared for that. And then after you watch that, then I'm going to have you guys, you probably need to put it into your drive, the link, in order to get to the seafloor spreading activity that I want you to do. You don't necessarily need to print it off unless you already have a printer and you can do that. Otherwise, you can just look at it off of the screen and be able to answer the questions. But let's take a look. On the first one, procedure, I've done for you. You don't have to do that unless you would like to, and you can print it off. But if you can't, it says we need to identify the Mid-Atlantic and East Pacific Ridge systems. And so if you flip through the document, you should find a few pages in a map. Looks like this. That's what your map is going to look like. Now I have gone ahead and I've colored mine. So like if you have a printer and you can print it off, yours will be blank. But number one is asking you to color it, which I have already done. So if you don't have a printer and you can't print it off, then you can just sort of freeze the video right here and use mine because I already colored it in. But I've got my key here. These are different ages. You can see this line, this big crack. There's a crack here, and then there's like an upside down crack that's in the shape of a Y, upside down Y here. The gray areas, this is North America, Alaska, Canada, this is South America, this is Africa, this is Europe, okay? And then the striping that you see, hang back up. This is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. This is the Atlantic Ocean. This is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge that runs right through the center, that big black crack. And then you can see the numbers as they spread out. This is evidence of the seafloor spreading. It's moving this direction. And so everything that is a number 1 is aged the same. The number 2s are aged the same, 3s, 4s, 5s. And that links back to your video. You also have over here on the Pacific side, this is the Eastern Pacific Ridge. It's a big crack that kind of comes down through here and then it splits. And again, anything that's a 1 is the same age, and they have that in millions of years. MYA is millions of years. And then the green, which are the 2s that I've chosen, those are all the same age. So you have your Mid-Atlantic Ridge and your Eastern Pacific Ridge. The next step in the procedure, it asks you to take measurements. Again, if you printed it off, you can do that. I tell you in the instructions to avoid like these areas where it's sort of pinched tight. You want to avoid those types of areas where it's really pinched. But if you don't have a printer, then what you're going to do is you are going to be writing down the data. I went ahead and I took some measurements for you. And so we're going to be putting those in. I have those listed on Google Classroom. So the places that you would put those, I said the measurements that I want you to use for 2A, measurement 1, 2, and 3. This one would be 3.1 centimeters, 2.0 centimeters, and then 2.7 centimeters. And then you can follow along B all the way through G. Ultimately, what you're doing is you're creating a mathematical scenario where you're going to determine how fast the seafloor is spreading. So you're determining velocity. I also said in my Google Classroom that I want you to put your answers on a separate piece of notebook paper. So this is what it would look like. So seafloor spreading lab 15 up there at the top with your name. Number 1 is the color coding one. You don't really have to do number 1, but then you can go through and you can number vertically. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. This is 2A through G, 3A through G, And then you have your conclusion questions. You have 4 conclusion questions there. And I would just skip a little bit of space between each of those. So you can refer to the worksheet, and it's going to walk you through step by step how to do the math. And you're going to be writing your answers. So this is letter D, 2D. You would write your answer there. And then you're simply going to take a picture of this document and send it to me, and I will grade it. Okay?